He's for the gathering of your people. I ask by the power of your Spirit to grant utterance. I speak as your oracle. Your word goes forth unhindered by any demonic force and establishes grace in our hearts and ministers light to our path. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, so I'll just do a slight recap and then finish off on something. Somebody asked a question. I think that I will send this question from the last time, and if I can pull the question out. And I think, but I'll just go over it. I think the question was answered if, yes. All right, so the person asked this question, sent it to Pastor Jessica, so he sent it to me. She goes and says, Pastor talked about one marrying someone with the same genetic code. All right, it doesn't have to be the same, but similar genetic code. All right, so same genetic code as they do have, and that people are generally made up of experiences they had growing up, etc. It totally makes sense, and I agree. But if we are to apply it directly without some modification, it will look like people who wish to change some narratives about their previous environment and experiences will never be able to do so. Okay, that's what the person asks. Do you get? My question then is this. What if someone has worked or is working to modify genetic code because they did not like all that they saw growing up and would like to have a home and a marriage which almost looks entirely different from what they saw around them? I just need Pastor to touch on this because he's previously talked about changing subconscious programming, and that's part of genetic code modification. And I, for one, have taken this seriously, I think the person has answered their question, what they have asked. All right, that the subconscious reprogramming, all right, is what you would definitely call I don't want to use all these big words, but is what you call a modification of the genetic code. And that what we are saying, I will look at this, is similarity. And I think the scripture will get to it. We put out is that the Bible says, all right, two cannot work together except they be agreed. In other words, when two people come together, they must agree to work together. And this means that they have to, for them to successfully work together, there has to be a conscious agreement that we are going to work together. What that means is that, all right, in areas where there are differences there, we consciously make up our minds. And really what happens in marriage, if people really engage in it, is that as two people relate closely together, coming from two different backgrounds, what happens is they create a modified genetic code as they explore the worlds of themselves. And that modified genetic code is a great improvement on the genetic code, all right, that they came into that relationship with. In other words, you become a much better person, all right, with better attitudes, with being able to resolve things that you would not have resolved as an individual by yourself, expanding certain things. So it's really about that modification, and that's what we want to, all right, talk about. Now, we established that, and it's true here, that you are happiest with a person who has a genetic code that is very similar to yours. The reason is, all right, you are going to make similar kinds, all right, of decisions. You can allow that person to express themselves within, all right, that particular union. There was once I went somewhere and it was a relationship stuff, and the guy came to testify about their relationship on church, maybe to give a testimony, and he got up about how they met, and the lady there was looking up and was praying in tongues, but it was almost like, man, just don't say what you're not supposed to. She was just uncomfortable. When you're not comfortable with somebody, that this one will just go and show himself that it's not deep and it's not spiritual, and she was just praying in tongues. But let the guy talk now, and all of that. So the reason why people cannot allow people sometimes in relationships, all right, freedom of expression. And that's when you have done something, all right, which means if you can't allow somebody to express who they really are within a relationship without you having to be a monitoring spirit. Are you following what I'm saying here?
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have never, and I will never And I have never. All right? Told my wife, let me see what you are wearing so that you don't embarrass me. Do you get what I'm saying here? Yes, sir. I have never said, don't you know you're a pastor's wife? Do you get what I'm saying here? Never in my life said, don't you know you're a pastor's wife? Your pastor's wife can't be behaving like this. All right? Because that is how she is. Now, when you marry somebody that is not on that trajectory, then you are now trying to change the person into what that person is not, is what begins to cause unhappiness. There are people that, listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying anybody's way is wrong. I'm just saying that even if somebody is mad, two mad people should marry themselves. Do you get what I'm saying here? Are you following what I'm saying? So, because what you are considering madness is not madness to that other person. They'll be very happy together. But if you now have to get up at every point in time and be looking at the person and you are not comfortable, you go somewhere, the person meets your family, you are using one eye to, what exactly are you saying in that conversation there? You are not comfortable, it means there's a difference. All right? And so you are not happy with the person who's genetic, and it's not a deep thing, you'll know after some time. Genetic code, all right, is not similar to yours. Okay? So, successful, in terms of human mating there, follows the line of genetic similarity. All right? That is, once the genetic, all right, similarity, that is the way it works. They are successful. Those that are successful follow the line of genetic similarity there. And then we'll also look at resolving differences. Resolving differences there, all right, have to deal with, there are areas, no two people, all right, are exactly, perfectly the same. So you are going to have differences there. And differences, therefore, call for adjustment and changes. And what you want in the adjustment and the changes as you relate with one another is that each individual becomes a much better person, all right, as they interact with those areas of their differences. In fact, it is the area of differences that will actually create an identity for that relationship. Are you following what I'm saying here? Because, you'll be who you are before you came into the marriage and continue the way you are. And there'll be no growth or development without, all right, that. And that area has to be embraced. And I'll show where the problem really comes from. So when people are highly attracted to themselves and start a relationship and they are highly attracted to themselves and they like being, at least they are really attracted to themselves there, and they start a relationship and it fails, all right, either as a relationship or a marriage, the real problem we've said is that they have discovered in their interaction, all right, the areas where they are not similar and therefore have stopped enjoying being together. Because if the differences are too many, then what will begin to happen is inside that relationship there'll be a lot of conflict. And with a lot of conflict, therefore, there'll be a lot of stress. And if people don't understand, all right, what really is going on, then people just say it simply did not work out. So we're not giving any hard, fast rules here that do's and don'ts, but for you to have an understanding, all right, of human nature and interacting with people and coming to understand. So you know what you can resolve, you know what's a waste of time, all right, and then you know how to resolve differences where the meet's there. So, really and truly, most people don't really know what the problem is. They just know that, we started out, we were real friends, everything was going very well, and then suddenly things just began to deteriorate, and we didn't get any hand on it, and what happened was it spun out of control, right? Because probably words were being used to describe, and people got personal about it, not understanding that, all right, this is what really is going on. And so then all that conflict, all right, begins. So similarity is really critical. We said that because every form of where you have similarity there, you have. All right. There are people that are. Well, we'll get into it, but similarity is really critical. But what you've got to understand is that the success is in that you agree to make adjustments where it is necessary. Now, we also said a degree of happiness within and the success of a relationship, all right, can be predicted from the onset by the degree of their matching attributes. And we also said the last time that opposites do attract, but once they get into that more close relationship, they begin to repel. So you have somebody who is more private, and you have somebody who believes more in, when we say intimacy now, more in sharing the deepest thoughts and every detail of what happened that day. Okay? If they get into marriage and they get into a relationship there, and that one comes home and is a private person, goes up to the study or is reading something and all of that, and this other person is talking, to that one, you're a talkative. You get what I'm saying here? To this other one, look, there's no connection with you. All right? And if you are in a house with somebody and you want to talk and the person doesn't talk, that's a serious problem. Because you have committed the rest of your life to just staring at a mannequin. Do you get what I'm saying here? Because that one doesn't talk and you want to go ahead, all right, and talk. And so when people begin to find other people outside that want to talk, then intimacy starts with those people. Then it now gets into something else. Because this one is on the phone talking to that one and they're getting really emotionally connected. And then this other one, and all right, doesn't, okay. Okay, and also won't even know what intimacy is. When I said what intimacy is, doesn't even know the relationship is in danger when another one is talking so much with somebody of the opposite sex on the phone because they don't understand that connection thing. Do you get what I'm saying here? All right? So we said, someone can say, I love her attentiveness, but now in a relationship, all right, the attentiveness now is driving me crazy because he isn't giving me enough space. Or she's not giving me enough what? Space. All right? One wants to know every detail, and that one is a headlines person. I met him, I love his drive to succeed. I tried to say that, and I'm telling you that I know people who have, now this is what I'm saying, walked out of marriages on this. Walked out. That the guy does not have time for the marriage. And the guy, as far as is concerned, I'm providing. Do you get what I'm saying here? Yes, and listen, a guy who comes in driving, somebody comes in keke pep, all right, to come there, and now comes in a BMW, that one looks more attractive than keke pep. But this one is driven, this one is a good guy. You get what I'm saying? You marry this one who has the BMW, to buy that kind of BMW at the age where he is, he's devoted to his work. Are you following what I'm saying here? The very thing that you liked about him is the very thing that is now creating. As far as it's concerned, if he doesn't look at it properly, to the woman, you deceived me. Because the very reason why you married me is why you are now attacking me. Do you get what I'm saying here? And he now comes that, look, you gamed me, but that's not really what's going on. And human beings are not rational beings. We are irrational beings. We are emotional beings. All right? Which means that if something, something can be rational, but look, you just say that I'm not feeling it. That's what we're saying here. You understand this? So the guy goes to work, comes back. He's devoted to what he's doing. He's running. He's in love with his coding and all of that. And you are just there by yourself. Are you following what I'm saying here? But he has dollars. Do you get what I'm saying? That's not, like now, you'll be going on summer holiday. But you may just fly alone. All right? So he is just determined you enter into a relationship. All right, it appears he has no time for you but his work. His own interpretation of love is, what do you want? I'll get it for you. Where do you want to stay? You got it. All right? You fall in love with his quietness and gentility. Are you following what I'm saying here? You don't think he even defends you outside as he should because he's quiet and he say what? You get what I'm saying? All right. So we said look at it this way. All right? Now once you, and let me, well, I know you won't agree, but let me just say, in this matter of relationship is give and take. Don't create unrealistic expectations. Are you following what I'm saying here? Yes, sir. Okay? What you read in Mills and Boons of that is not real life. Are you following? Storytelling is not what? Real life. What I'm trying to do is that don't use your hand to destroy good relationships because it doesn't meet what you read in a book. Are you following what I'm saying here? Don't destroy a good relationship because it doesn't match what you met in a book here. In other words, if somebody, let's just say, is dedicated to that code and all that, if he leaves it, he won't be happy. Let me tell you this, he will not be happy sitting down talking to you, spending 6 hours just gisting. He will not be happy. So if you force him out of what gives him joy to sit and talk with you, then you may have a problem. So maybe if you want to talk, then learn coding. No, listen to what I'm saying here. So that you sit beside him and you are talking coding and interacting together. Do you get the general stuff I'm saying here? Let me give this example. Let me give this example. Wait, hold it. Just wait. Listen to what I'm saying now. What's the problem with you people, folks? I'll go. So let me give you an example here. My brother, when he got married, was living in England then. So he was watching television, football, Premier League, and I just want to give an example. And my mother was staying with them. She went to visit them, so she sat down. So his wife saw that my mother came into the living room and sat down. So she was signaling to him that your mother is sitting down watching. Change the channel. Change the channel. So my mother, with the corner of her eye, saw that she was saying change time. So she looked, said, offside near now. Offside near now. All right, it was because his team's Arsenal at that time. Kanu shouldn't have passed that way now. So the wife looked and said, better love what they love. That she was not a football fan, but when her husband will sit down with football, and you want to say something else, well, if you want to talk, then look at the football he's doing. Ask him to explain. So you now begin to discuss. As you are talking the football, you can deviate to your own. Are you following what I'm saying here? In other words, don't come to the table saying someone should cross to your own side to prove the person loves you. Draw the middle line. Because many people have been in good relationships that they have scattered. God is faithful. I hope you understand what I mean by God is faithful. When someone said there's nobody, God has been faithful. Is that person out of lack of advice just said you can be going away, blah, 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 and then you now start searching. You know the akara that you want to buy in the morning that is fresh. When they say 5 naira, by evening, when you're coming back home, nobody has bought. 1 naira, come and take. I hope you understand my code word for you. You get to the point that is he a man? He's a man. He's a man. He's a woman. He's a man. You get that? All that choice thing. So when, So if the account, please, let me quickly move. That's why I was joking like that my time went. So if the account has much more withdrawals than deposits, then there will be a problem unless, all right, you know how to leverage debt, which you can. And I will explain what I mean by that. You have to work harder to clear your debt. And I've given an example of this kind of debt. You see, there is wisdom that is that you have to learn how wisdom is. I mean, I've given an example before. I read somewhere that there was a lady who got married and she just could not cook. And the husband, it was terrible. I mean, it was bad. So what used to happen was that the guy, when he finishes work, will go back to his parents' house and eat on his way back home. So the mother realized that this guy is coming, eating and going. There must be a problem. So when the friend came, she now came with the friend. She now called the friend. That what's going on? The friend said, it is bad, that the lady's food, it is bad. So the mother said, okay, no problem. So what she did, I'm just trying to say that, look, you don't have to fight. There's wisdom. What she did was that she now told her that she's having a party for her friends and invited and called her son's wife to come and cook with her. That one, the woman, what she said, she had almost lost it. Okay, cook. So what the mother did was that the mother started cooking, said, hey, this is how I do it. Cooked. So what she did was that she cooked, all right? Then she was saying, follow me, but the mother did the cooking, served all the friends. There was abundance of food. Said, just take this one home. So she took it home. So once it finished, the son started coming back again. She said there was another party again. She brought her back again, was cooking, showed her. Then said, take home. The third time, she now called her again, said, okay, you cook it this time. And because she had watched her, the way she was cooking, she now cooked and then she corrected her on it. She now said, take it home. That's when the girl got what the mother-in-law was doing. He said, I want to thank you. Thank you. You didn't say anything. You see, you can solve problems without fighting. Do you get what I'm saying here? You can solve problems without insulting people's hometown. Do you get what I'm saying? All right, so I'm trying to say that problem was actually solved, which was capable of fracturing that relationship. Now, I will tell you the one that cannot be solved. So when you see it, you leave it and go. All right? There are 4 of them. If you see it like this, just take your load and be going. One of it is uncontrollable anger. Only 1 out of 8 people being beaten in marriage say it. Are you following what I'm saying? And for men, maybe 1 out of 20 say that they are being physically abused in marriage. Okay, so the point is when 2 people come together with similar backgrounds, say this, they operate therefore from a place of strength. All right? By all the customs, societies, and practices they share, they make their relationships significantly easier. Because they have been raised in ways that are alike, they know what to expect from each other. All right? At least in an environment that are alike, they have shared values. They have a set of agreements at subconscious level that form the core of their relationship. Now, anytime relationships encounter differences, there is some stress on that relationship. You know elasticity. You know when something is elastic, it can bend. When something is not elastic, it breaks. So if a person is elastic, which means that they understand that we're going to have differences there, so they bend. There's stress on it, but the relationship doesn't break. Do you get what I'm saying? But it endures some stress. Anytime there's a difference, there's some stress. Don't take that stress for granted. And we said this, if somebody makes a decision there, for example, if somebody gets up and now says, I will learn coding, or she says, I will learn football, and does that, she has endured something and released some form of energy in order to make that particular thing happen. There's some stress there. If you take that thing for granted and keep piling, even if it's elastic, after some time, it will reach a breaking point. So you have to be sensitive to the people that are making adjustments for you. All right? So, but it does have some measure of stress. And so adaptability, we said this here, is what actually does that. I have said one of the things, and I think this is probably the most. I mean, I heard someone say this today, and it's so right, that to the Chinese, conflict means change. So whenever there's any friction to them, it means we have to change something. All right? Gratitude for this. I don't think in human relationship there's anything more powerful than gratitude. All right? Don't take people for granted. All right? And to be honest, let me be very honest with you. Women shouldn't take men for granted. Outside is tough. Huh? Outside is tough. Fuel is 600. Are you following what I'm saying here? The pressure comes more on a man. Any man, except he has lost his manhood in terms of being a man, who fails to provide for his house already feels defeated. You don't have to inflict the pain. Because except he's a useless man. And that one you will have seen, you are the one that entered, okay? But every man every man wants to do that. And in an urban area, this is my own argument. In an urban area where you both went to the same schools, where you were better than many of the men that were in your schools, where you graduated with a first class, he graduated with a 2-2, where you got a top job, he got an average job. You can't expect him to be the sole provider at the beginning of a marriage. Are you following what I'm saying? You beat him in the class now. How then do you expect, what do you want him to do at that initial stage? Give him some time. Do you get what I'm saying here? All right? Look, I know many people, many guys who are very successful today, who the truth about the matter is that their wives helped them at the beginning because the wives had a steady income and were helping to chip in to give them that leeway to be able to have a break. And those women are enjoying the benefits of that investment that they made. Are you following what I'm saying? They asked Muhammad Ali, what's the meaning of home? He said, home is the only place where you lose and you come home and you are received and celebrated. Do you get what I'm saying here? Every other place, once they beat you and you're no longer world champion, they don't greet you well. At home, they're supposed to do what? Greet you well. All right. So let me get into some of the things I want to share today here. So, what causes, I want to look at this difference issue and then come back to resolving it. So what causes the real problem when there's a difference? All right, relationships have collapsed. So if you meet anybody who says, who are really attracted to ourselves, and you saw they were really attracted, they enjoyed the initial stages of being together and all of that, what really happened was, and the more you begin to meet an attractive person, the more those differences begin to show up from subconscious levels, all right? Okay, and those differences have strengthened some relationships, while those differences have destroyed, all right, some relationships. Now, you've got to understand 2 Corinthians, put it up, chapter 12 and verse 9 and verse 10. He said unto me, my grace, let's go to verse 7. All right? Okay. He says, lest I should be exalted above measure, through the abundance of revelation, there was given unto me a thorn in the flesh. That's the messenger of Satan that was sent to buffet me. So this was a demonic spirit. And a messenger of Satan is a thorn. It's like this thing makes this discomfort. All right. A messenger of Satan that kept buffeting him. And he said, for this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that he may do what? Depart from me. Now, you can solve a relationship problem in 2 minutes. 1 minute. If that thing is buffeting you, you can solve it in 2 minutes by breaking up. You break up, you are free. Do you get what I'm saying? So you can say Paul was saying that he might depart from me. That let's break up. Abi, isn't that what he's saying here? I'm trying to say here. You're out. If you just say, I'm not doing it again, you're out. But you can be sure that you're going to meet it again somewhere. Because Paul said the problem wasn't even the messenger of Satan. The problem was that there was something inside him that needed to be corrected. Many times when you are in relationships, the real problem is the adjustments that you have to make for that thing to win, where what you are thinking is that that person needs to make, all right, just that adjustment for it to happen. So he said, God said, my grace is sufficient for thee. And let's go there. It says, my grace. It says, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, I will glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. So, as you begin to glory, it says, I therefore take pleasure in necessity. Next verse, I take pleasure, all right, in infirmities. So, once that kind of difference begins to happen, which means that it is almost going to break out into an argument there, you should realize that this is what is going to define this relationship and create a union among both of us that will be deeper, and that is what will create that thing around us. If there is a decision by both parties, as they agree on this, that listen, we are going to work on this thing. The first thing is, all right, you take pleasure. In other words, you go and thank God. That listen, I want to thank you that this person's habits irritate me. The person that I love, their habits, I cannot stand. But Father, I thank you that you sent this way. Because what is going to happen is your patience level is going to grow. As a Christian, your character will be more like who? Jesus. Do you understand what we're saying here? I'm telling you the truth, though. Are you following what I'm saying? Listen, I've told you that we'll get to fundamentals, you can't negotiate. But this one, all right, that you'll be more like Jesus. I give you thanks. Now, let me say this here. The problem is not the relationship. Two of my brother and my sister, they're psychiatrists. One in England, one in America. And one day I stumbled on my sister's, when I told her to take it, I went to see her in her house. And I was looking at it, and there's what you call character disorders. There's what you call psychosis. There's what you call neurosis. When we say, quote unquote now, that somebody's a mad person, what they have is psychosis. That's they take off clothes, they tear their clothes, everything. That's psychosis. But the Yorubas have a saying, and I will translate it, that in other words, people that are well-dressed but have madness problem are the most in society. That a lot of people that are well-dressed are actually mad. All right? Which is where they're well-dressed. What they are talking about is neurosis. And that neurosis is a character disorder. And you can meet that person and get to a relationship, and the character disorders start coming out. And you are wondering, This person that is like this, that comes to church, that in worship is like, You're like, You see, it's what is called neurosis. Now, I want to tell you the root cause of neurosis. And if you have a neurotic condition, then there'll be instability in your relationship. Because what causes it is you're not wanting, plants grow up. If somebody is upright, it means that if anybody is upright, it means that that person has grown in the direction where the challenges are coming from. So we talk about plants. If you cut a hole and the light is coming from the side, the plants will go through the side. The reason why plants are going up is that they are growing towards where the light is coming, the energy is coming from. All right. But Jesus called it trials and tribulations like the sun. So people that are strong and upright grow in the direction of where the trials and tribulation, they don't dodge it. Now, if in your own personal life, you start dodging and trying to find the way, this is what causes it, to get out of personal things. That's why David confronted the bear, confronted the lion. So he put him in a position where he could confront Goliath. Now, inside a relationship, if a person sees those things and says, I'm getting out of it, it's because in their own personal life, it's a neurotic condition, they don't confront issues. Do you get what I'm saying? They actually dodge out of it. So when they meet it in something, the first way is, look, let me look at this, I'm out. All right? So it's actually, and there are 4 things you have to deal with personally, which means as an individual, you have to start working on this, all right, in your life. It's a character disorder. It's anxiety arising from trying to avoid dealing with problems there that brought the anxiety in the first place. In other words, learning to deal with problems inside your own personal life. That's how you are going to grow to the point where you realize that there are options. And how do you deal with problems in your personal life? We taught this on Sunday. This is what God does in answer to prayer. So prayer is a very solid in this. In other words, when there's anxiety about something, which means you have thoughts about something there, you go to God in prayer and He replaces those thoughts. He gives you new thoughts, and those are thoughts of peace. So you look at something and go to God in prayer about it. God, I have this issue before me. Just like how Daniel and his friends did. There's an issue here. We're not dodging away from or running away from it. We beseech you, God of all mercy, give us the thoughts through which we can solve this particular problem. And then you go up to Him and then He gives you. And it is the key to success in life. You see, the key to success in life is looking for the choke points in whatever you're doing. Those choke points and resolving them. The reason why some companies or churches, whatever it is, grow and others don't grow and fail is that the people avoided the choke points. In other words, somebody walks up to you and says that, look, there's a problem in this particular area, and you just go into denial. Instead of you saying that, look, let us solve this particular problem. If I'm involved in this, let's solve this particular problem. All right? If I'm dealing with clients and clients say this, I will solve that problem. They're saying that, instead of blaming them and say, what are you talking about? Don't you know how Nigeria is? What do you say? There's no light. You say we should deliver on time. No, we must solve this particular problem. How do we solve this problem? We don't see any way of solving them. We take the problem to God. God, give us the thoughts through which we can solve that particular problem. And new ideas will begin to come to you. That's the way that genetic code there changes, which means new ideas, which means life is not the only way you see it. That's the point I'm trying to get here. The fact that I see life in a particular way doesn't mean that that's the only way life is. If I meet with something that is different from it and I come to my wit's end in it, then I go to God, all right, to ask Him, God, are there thoughts that I don't have that is creating frustration in this particular thing? Can my own thoughts be replaced? And if there's anxiety and all of that, it means the thoughts that you have concerning that thing are not right. You get what I'm saying? I mean, that woman that solved the problem of the daughter-in-law there did it by thoughts. In other words, there are ways you could have done it, she could have, but she solved the problem. All right? So you go there to solve those problems there. And that's how you can now say, okay, all right, I as a person here is going to bring growth and development, all right, to me. So, okay, you feel threatened by your inadequacies to deal with that issue. So there are issues there, you feel inadequate, and that's what. So I can't deal with this thing. You can deal with it. I can't resolve this thing. You can't resolve it. All right? I must give up this business. You don't have to give up the business. I can walk away from it. You don't have to walk away. You can actually solve that particular thing. All right? And the issue therefore now becomes that you now become the kind of person that you notice, even if you are relating with somebody, when that person is trying to do, you call the person, look, there's something going on that you're not saying here. Your countenance has changed and all of this. Look, let's sit down, say what this thing is, we will resolve this matter. It can be resolved. And then you help the person through the process there in terms of resolving. If every time something happens, something you don't like, you see it, all right, you run away from it, there is absolutely no way in relating with the person, right? Once those things come up, right, in fact, you'll just be waiting. Once it comes like this, you are out of the back door. All right? And it has nothing to do with that person. It just has to do with the person who doesn't, all right, confront, all right, those issues there. Okay? So, and the worst thing in this world is to drop somebody else picks up that person, and that person becomes a shining star. It has happened to you. All right? I said this useless guy, everything. Next time you see the girl and the guy there, and then you look at it. All right? And you learn your lesson. Don't complain. Just say, God, I've seen what you're telling me. Next time, give me one more chance, and I will act right. The problem is that second chance, the test will be a little bit harder. All right? So once you have been avoiding issues and seeking not to solve problems, you will find it difficult to cope with the stress of differences that you meet in your genetic code. And there'll be differences there. All right? And unwilling to walk through it, which means I just can't put myself, all right, through. But it is not just a relationship. That's just the way people are. So you find people that are high performance. Those people there want to walk through. They say, look, bring the issue. We will walk through, all right, this particular thing. It's a manifestation, all right, of a character defect, which is a neurotic condition. And if a person is like that, they can't succeed in a relationship. So it's something you have to work on, all right, in your own self. Okay? We've also said that narcissist person, which means suffers from narcissism there, you cannot, all right, have a successful relationship with a person that has that kind. Because let me tell you something about someone who is a narcissist is a person with excessive admiration of themselves, all right? And they're only interested in relating with you because it makes them look better publicly. That's the reason why they're doing that. Listen to what I'm saying here. If you dress very well, you do things very well, they'll be happy with you publicly, but privately they will undermine you. Do you get what I'm saying here? They like you, whether guy or girl here, oh, see your guy, man, you have a dude. But when you are alone, when they talk to you, they make you feel less than yourself. But they like that they're with a tall, dark, handsome, well-dressed guy. Do you get what I'm saying here? But after that, when you are alone, I don't understand what kind of, you will feel small. Or you take a guy, this beautiful, it's a trophy person, but when she's alone, don't you know any other thing apart from just dress? Is that what life, you will feel less than yourself. That's why people say that people that do too much PDA, particularly on Instagram, have problems in their relationship. What they're trying to say is that they are more interested in how people perceive them outside. Do you get what I'm saying here? But inside, people are suffering. And what you want to see there is whether your opinion counts with such a person. If somebody doesn't respect your ideas, if somebody doesn't respect your opinions, Do you get what I'm saying here? If somebody doesn't respect your ideas, if somebody doesn't respect your opinions, don't spend a dime on that person. If you don't like my wisdom, you cannot have my cash. Period, as a law in life. Because it's the wisdom that produces the cash. Are you following what I'm saying? You make a suggestion, it's like you are stupid. But what are you saying? Now, if people don't respect your opinions and they will not listen, all right, to your opinions about things there, and I'm saying people that use people are like this. Okay? They won't listen to anything and they talk about your opinions. It's like, no place we're going. All right? Then if somebody doesn't respect that, then the truth about the matter is there's no point. The last one about this is anger management. Okay? Look, if people have severe anger problems, they should be left alone to be single. Pending when God does his work inside them. Severe anger problems, all right, cannot be managed. I said this when I started doing the singles. When I went to preach in Manchester, there was a lady that came to see me. She said, "Pastor, you don't remember me?" I looked at her, I said, "Yeah, but I said," I looked at her properly, I said, "Yeah, I remember you." And she came, working on something, pushing herself after a church service. And then she took a walking stick, and then I started trying to think whether this was how she was in Yaba. Was this how she was in Yaba? So I looked at her. When I realized that she wasn't like this, I said, "What happened? Accident?" She just looked at me. Domestic violence. Spinal cord injury. Listen, I'm a tough guy. Tears almost came to my eyes. I didn't know when I hugged her, I said, "I'm sorry." Damaged her life. And if you find out, she will have given a lot to that guy. Probably settled him in England. Do you understand what I'm saying? And the worst part of it is that he may have another girl that he has gone with now. Are you following what I'm saying here? So let it be your prayer point. Lead me not to an angry man or an angry woman. Because I will not justify any man's behavior to a woman. But if a woman uses, I don't justify. Okay? My own personal recommendation, if you are married and you're watching this, and a woman tongue is very caustic, just do what the Bible says. This is the solution. That thing is not, it is the solution. Move out of the room. Park out of that room. Are you following what I'm saying here? Rooftop can mean anywhere. It could be an apartment across the street so that you will not be tempted and pushed to do something that you will regret. All right? Keep your duties as the head. Pay for the apartment where she stays. Everything she's doing. Talk on the phone in a controlled environment where if you get to one point I can drop. Do you get what I'm saying here? Until that thing purifies the caustic tongue. I am telling you. I know what I'm saying. That scripture is not a scripture for, you get what I'm saying? It's not a scripture that says just do this. So when I knew somebody, they were talking anyhow. The day she stopped, was shouting on him. He just opened the door and it was raining. And he entered the rain. And he was just walking in the rain. The rain was beating him, drenched. He was just going. So, to her, it dawned on her. You mean it is better to be walking in the rain than to be this way? Are you following what I'm saying? Because when a man is walking in the rain, and it's a medicated word, and he's walking, and people say, "Why are you walking in the rain?" Then it must mean that this looks mad, but there is madness. That's when I knew that scripture is actually saying that's how you correct a nagging person. Because I don't know any man who has succeeded in life who woke up to nagging and left his house. I guarantee you he will die before that woman. She will do the funeral service of him. I guarantee you. Because all the negative energy inside her, she's pouring it into him. It won't be long when this is how the man will be. Walking at 56, he'll be realizing what's happened. Because all the negative energy has entered into him. I'm telling you. One day I'll do men's meeting. So that some men, so that you live long. I know what I'm talking about. Because sometimes they've poured everything and then the man is just like this. And you see women on the road just whacking. Haven't you seen? And the husband is the one that is doing like it. They've carried all the negative energy. Haven't you seen? Go and check. Go outside and check. Next time you see it, remember me. You'll see that the woman is pump, 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 pump. And then you just see the man coming like, Baba, you didn't get the secret. You can't let negative energy, all right, be poured. If you're telling story to a point, you stop the story. So you see what happened, and this happened. Start, conclude. We can't go through all the, because all that emotion is coming. Start. What happened? You entered. What's the end of the story? This happened. Finish. You don't know. Start and finish. Because by the time they go, you should, then the woman is relieved. I feel much better. Where did that energy go? That feeling of better means I've emptied it in you now. You are the one now like that. You start, you finish, the rest you talk to God. God is your creator. He says, if you're anxious about anything, talk to him. All right? Or else, that man will be out of this earth very soon. All right. Finally, let me just run through this. What I gave you is secret to you men. Okay. You are laughing. All right. So, we've said this here. Foundation for crisis resolution is listening. Not just hearing, but listening with the intent, all right, of understanding the position of the other person. In other words, where there's a difference, you listen with the intent there of understanding the position of the other person, what their logic is. And you must understand everybody is intelligent. Nobody is not intelligent. Everybody has logic, all right, and makes them take that particular position. You cannot claim another is wrong simply because they are different from you. That's being rigid. The idea of also, all right, thinking that I'm going to come out of this as a winner, which means I won, I suppressed your own ideas, and my own idea seems to have been the one that prevailed. You can never defeat a person on the level of conviction of that person by thinking you can suppress it. All they will do is keep quiet, but what they are is what they are. Do you get what I'm saying? So you won for yourself, you didn't win anything. You didn't shift that relationship, neither did you improve it. Okay? So give legitimacy to the thoughts of other people, even when you don't agree with it, by listening to it there. And being able to put it in your own words in communicating. All right? I think I've taught this in the other one, so I'll just close with this one. An attitude of give and take. Now, you must understand that you cannot win every argument. You can't always be right. God cannot do you like that. Sarah advised Abraham the first time. It was a terrible advice. He went to meet Hagar and caused serious problems in that family. But the second advice was very accurate and became a New Testament scripture. Cast out the bondwoman and the son of the bondwoman. Do you get what I'm saying here? You hear what I say? So one person's idea can be wrong today, the person's idea is right tomorrow. So you can't win every argument. You can't come out saying that you're always right. All right? Live with All right? Which means you come out feeling that you are smarter and you have a sense of intellectual superiority. You are simply destroying that relationship, and those who believe this way are those who will be most damaged when the relationship is ruined. You see the person coming out with strong sense of, and you have to be, I've said this, there's elastic, all right, limit. If you are, I mean, there's a lady, she was, I knew her from Unilag. I started coming to this church, and her person she was dating like back then was a family friend. In fact, his father was my brother's godfather, so we're close. Every 26th of December, we'll go and visit them in their house. So I knew him very well. Well, he was my junior in school, but she was with him. So later, so she told me, so he said, that guy said, very quiet, very nice guy. Said, but the day I will argue, shout, and get my way, the day he pulled out forever. Said, and she was the one that was really damaged. Because the person who feels I'm the one winning, is the person, if that relationship ends, that will suffer the most emotional effort. All right? So, listen to people, understand where they're coming from, hear what they did not say that they are trying to say, that they might even be ashamed to say. All right? Listen properly to people. What that basically means is you are not going into something for what you can get. And let me just say this to women here. No matter how much a man is capable of providing for you, make sure in life you can stand independent of any man and provide for yourself. Are you following what I'm saying? You can meet somebody that can provide everything and do everything for you, but make sure as a person, a human being, you may not have to do it, but you can be in a position where, because God forbid anything happens, things can happen. A person may fall ill. He may fall ill for 3 years. He's unable to walk. What happens? Are you following what I'm saying here? You must be in a position, that idea that, it is his job, you should go and provide everything. Listen, you, as a human being, you cannot feel satisfied as a human being. Let me tell you this in ministry. Let me just give an example. If one minister, let's say, goes to hold a meeting let's just say you go and hold a meeting in Atlanta. Even in an artist that sings, you hold a concert by yourself and you have 5,000 people. It is better than to call many artists together and have 50,000 people, because you are leveraging on people. It may not be your own. Do you get what I'm saying here? You should be able to pull a crowd by yourself before you call anybody to come and, do you get what I'm saying here? Or else you are being a dependent and a parasite, not an individual. So even if a person is providing for you, it is not because you cannot provide by yourself. Yes, sir. You get what I'm saying? You should, as an individual, I'm telling this to women, and this is what sometimes causes a lot of disrespect inside a relationship and resentment. Do you get what I'm saying? You should be able to provide, all right, for your own self. At least they know that you can provide for yourself. Somebody that I knew got married. He was a wealthy guy. And so he got married to this person, and the family reacted. I know, this guy is a gold digger. How can she come and marry this wealthy guy, young guy? He's doing very well and all of that. The guy told his family, is she digging gold or me? Let us get this clear. This person you are seeing is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They said they didn't know. They didn't know. All right? They didn't know. And the family respected her. If they marry you that you are a gold digger and you do the wedding inside that family, please come. Please, we are doing something here. Go and fry all the plantain. Are you following what I'm saying here? Go and fry. Go and be what? You are what? Go and fry the plantain. I beg. What are you talking about? You get what I'm saying here? They will say things to you don't like. I had a friend in this church. She told me, I said what? She said me. She said I entered the house because they had knelt down, greeted the mother I was leaving. The mother said, can't you see the two sisters? Said one of them was my senior by 1 year in school. They told me to kneel down and greet her. She said, what I don't do inside my own house because of money. Keep your money. I'm going. Are you following what I'm saying? And the only way people, you know what Paul said? He said, when they saw the grace that was given unto me, they gave me the right hand of fellowship. When they saw what was at work in me was the same thing at work in them, they handed. If you want to earn self-respect, you must be able to deliver. Are you following what I'm saying? Once you can deliver, I'm not saying the man can come and say, no, no problem. But you know that if I walk out of this place, I am not going to suffer. So please, as a woman, this is what causes problem. You finish school and marriage is the priority. No self-development again is to go and marry. You did better than the men in school. Oh. Do you get what I'm saying? You did better. You beat them in the class. Haven't you seen even this last jam? Isn't the woman that go and check jam result? You see, with my own time, the person that came first, it's women that come for this jam thing. Check it. But once they finish the university like this, marriage. So while the man is improving himself and doing all of that, you don't improve yourself. They even tell you that if you improve yourself too much, no man is a lie. As we are this country, as we are like this with 617 naira for every man is looking for support. It's help me, they're looking for her. That this helper is there. And if you go abroad, there's nothing like you are sitting at home. I hope you know. Which jackpot person is sitting? Everybody is out working. Even double salary, they are still struggling. Then you come and say, I'm sitting down. Everybody is on the streets over there. It's here that people are saying what they're saying. Over there, everybody is on the streets walking. All right? So please, don't have a vision. It's not a good vision. Okay? I'm not saying you may find a man. Look, I'm just being realistic. Only 5% of people will find men that will buy. Only 5% too. Most of the men are in that bracket of we live happily together. Do you get what I'm saying? So have earning power, be able to earn yourself and have that sense of self-worth. Any other thing is not entitlement, it is addition. The Lord, with the kingdom, all these other things are added. But you have the word kingdom. God bless you all.
Start your day with our daily corporate prayers and declarations. Join us online every morning at 5 a.m. West African time via www.mixler.com/covenant. Our online midweek services as the Covenants Nation are a refreshing time of fellowship with God in worship and an in-depth study of His Word. Join us online every Wednesday as we recharge and receive all that heaven has prepared for us. Time is 6:45 p.m. West African time via www.mixler.com/covenant and 7 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. The Covenants Nation. The Widows Relief and Assistance Program, Project RAP, seeks to partner with registered organizations to provide internship opportunities for our resilient teenagers aged 13 to 19. It is an opportunity for our teenagers to gain applicable life skills and be gainfully occupied during the summer holiday, July to August 2023, and for your organization to put a smile on the faces of children and orphans of late police, army, air force, and navy officials. For interested organizations, kindly call 0818-033-2237 or send a mail to tcnprojectrap@gmail.com. Covenant Capital, under its cottage industry program, is organizing a vocational program for the skills below: gele artist, makeup artistry, baking and confectionaries, fashion designing female, catering and event planning, interior decoration, and graphic designing. The training will be handled by volunteer trainers who are willing, established, skillful, and ready to teach the skills for free to church members. There will also be physical interviews and pairing of willing participants and trainees starting from next Sunday, 16th of July 2023, after the last service at the Covenant Place, Igomu. Interested participants can register via cottagetraining.covenant-capital.org. For baby naming and child dedication, kindly visit the information desk to get the registration links. If you would like to get the audio CD of today's sermon or any of our programs at the Covenant Nation, kindly place an order by sending a WhatsApp message to the media office on 0814-000-0224. Audio CDs are produced on an order basis only. Download all messages for free at elibrary.insightsforliving.org. You can listen via Covenants Radio at www.insightsforliving.org/radio. Also, stream on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. Remember to send your feedback to respond@covenantchristiancenter.org, because at the Covenant Nation, we love feedback. For more information about upcoming Covenant Nation events, kindly visit the church website on www.insightsforliving.org or connect with us on all our social media handles as Covenant C Center, at Pastor Poju on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.